We're going to take a look at making a turkey fan like one of these from a turkey I got this spring. There's not that much to it. We're going to start by taking the beard and I'm going to cut off everything that's not beard or the attaching skin. I don't want to go too far because the beard will fall apart, but I'll leave it connected here, and then I'm just gonna wrap it up, or I could put it in a sandwich bag with some borax. And that'll draw all the moisture out of that. Next we take the tail. Now this, when I skin this bird out, cut the tail off, and I cut it off from the underside next to the vent, and then skin up the back a little bit to leave us enough feathers here to work with and have a nice presentation. But I'm going to start with, it's a little bit frozen, but there's not that much meat on these, so it should thaw out pretty quick. But you can see all the quills here, and then all these feathers back here, they go away. So the connecting tissue here, let's just start carving that away. Let's keep working at it. I'm going to cut away some of this fuzz back here. Doesn't help, and it kind of obscures the view. It's still frozen, but ultimately all this meat and all this fat here is going to go. You shave it right down to the, not all the way to the quills, but there's a, if you look real close here, there's a, here's the quill, and then the skin around the quill, that's going to stay. This skin right here. But this stuff and this is going to get cut down, and we'll end up with we'll see the tips of the quills through here before we're done. There's also a center bone in here that we're going to take out so we can get to all the fat. I don't know if everybody does that, taxidermists do that, but that's something I do. Again, keep carving this meat off the outside here. You can kind of see the quills here. It's still a little frozen, but we want to keep this, at least this line of skin here and here on the quills on this side. But we're going to get past the skin and into this fat so we can get it out of there and cut this meat off. And at some point we want to, there's a separate layer of skin that holds these feathers. It's like a flap under here that we want to open that up so we can get all the, we're going to get all the meat and fat off of that, and we're going to see this bone here. This bone I take out. It's kind of a wedge. When you take it out, both sides will free up and they'll be able to move. We'll see that when we get there. This side's still frozen pretty good, but we've gotten down to the quills here. And I can take the dull edge, the back edge of my knife and start breaking up this fat between the quills. And then when I get this bone out, I'll get even more of that fat. So this is starting to thaw out a little bit, enough to peel this skin back and start skinning this layer back from the base of the quills here, this way. I'll stay closer to the meat of the tailbone because this becomes really paper thin here, right here. And we want this thing to look halfway decent when we're done. I'm going to take a wire brush and brush the fat and meat out of there. Let's see, we want to get all that out of there. These will all be clean white tips of the quills when we're done. We're gonna cut this meat, scrape it away from all around. So at some point we'll have this center bone clear enough where we can see it, cut away on both sides, and try to snap it out of here like that. And there's a little bit left we'll get out later, but right now we want to get that out so we can get all this fat in here, all this fat and meat. And you can see that the skin holding it together just from here to here holds it close. All in between that's going to come out. All this fat in between here. We're going to, the combination of the knife and the the wire brush, and then we're going to use some kind of solvent, something that'll break down fats like spirits or lacquer thinner. I don't have any lacquer thinner right now, but we want to get anything yellow or red. We want to make sure we either get it out of there or kind of open it up to where the solvent can break it down and it can leach it out of there. So we're going to, as much as we can, we're going to keep the grease and the meat off of these feathers here, and scrape this, get all the meat we can, and then on the end of these quills, what I do is I'll kind of get the meat right next to, pull it off. Here's one. Look at that. Pull it off. We should end up with just this quill like this, with no meat or fat on it. And go through and do that. And then in between these quills, up in here, there's like a pocket of fat like that. We want to open that up. Start getting that out of there. At the point of the knife here. Like that. We got it to this point. You notice all these will be free when you get that center bone out. But I got a lot of the meat off. And I got a lot of the fat out of here. There's these pockets in here, and get as much as that. And then you got these two oil glands, or whatever kind of glands they are, the bird uses to preen his feathers. I want to open those up. They got all this oil in there. Cut them open. And then I'm going to take some mineral spirits. What I have, a lot of times I usually would use lacquer thinner, but I've got spirits here, and I'm going to wash some and try not to get too much on the feathers. Some of this will break down the oils, the fats in the skin. and put a weight on it here on this end. And let it kind of melt some of that fat out of there for a bit. I'm going to take this out and let it dry in the wind and the sun a little bit and bring it back in, and we'll put it in some borax to draw the whatever moisture out of it. And so now, like we did with the beard, when we get a bunch of borax on the skin. This is going to it'll draw the solvent out. It'll draw the fats and the greases out, but I'm going to get this coated really good, and then I'll just wrap it to here. I'm just going to kind of tie this around here at the bottom, not too tight. And I'll let this sit overnight at least and draw the oils out. And then I might come back, I'll look at it, and if it needs more solvent, I'll hit it again, and I'll repeat the process until all the skin looks white.